And my final theme and set of take-home messages from the BARTA 2017 conference relate to looking ahead to the future and looking for where the learning needs and the evidence gaps are. And these fell into four broad categories: behaviour, technical, regulatory and training. So for behaviour, there are some central themes here. Understanding the human-animal bond drives almost everything that happens at animal incidents when it comes to understanding how people behave on scene and managing that dynamic between the animal aspects of the incident and the human aspects of it. Understanding human behaviour change in relation to preparedness, and in particular how do we get people into that preparation and training mindset, was another really important behaviour learning need that we need to understand. Thinking about the science of animal behaviour and psychology, including animal learning theory and understanding why animals respond in the way they do when they are in incidents and when we're working around them, is key to keeping people safe and also to delivering the best welfare outcomes. And then finally, thinking about the mental aspects, the psychological aspects of incidents, whether that's individual animal or disasters, is really important, both from the human responder angle and also from the animal casualty angle. And we heard a lot about the effects of stress and PTSD on people. I think there's some powerful emerging evidence that animals suffer the same kind of post-traumatic stress responses, and recognising those and finding ways to deal with those, I think, will be the missing piece in the current jigsaw puzzle when it comes to dealing with animals during and then after the incident. The second set of learning needs is in the technical area. One major area here is in the area of optimal use of chemical restraints in all species, horses in particular, but in other species too. And understanding what struck me as the science of fear. In other words, what is it that happens in animals when they are suffering that fear response, whether they're a prey animal or a predator, so whether it's a horse, for example, or a dog. What happens in those animals that changes the way that they respond to chemical restraint protocols, and how can we recognise and measure this and factor that into the drug regimes that we use to keep them safe and to keep us safe. There's also a learning need in relation to immediate care, the translation of clinic care to incidents, so we can do the best for the animal casualty once we've extracted it from the dangerous situation that it was in. The third area was in relation to the science of lifting. We have a lot of lifting technology and ideas now, and having an evidence base for which techniques are most appropriate and when would be a big help to all emergency responders. The third learning area is regulatory, and thinking about how best we can use the very useful and growing number of standards, codes of practice and methods for management of risk, in particular dealing with corporate responsibility, sharing these and coming up perhaps with international standards, and optimum use of these would be a very useful future need. And the final learning need is in relation to training. I really like the idea of the cross-cutter approach, in other words, identifying themes that run through all training for all responders, and in particular the idea of animal behaviour and understanding and using that as a cross-cutter, I think is a very powerful platform for all the training that we do. Basing training on needs analysis, in other words, identifying gaps in where we currently are and how best to fill those, gives a very structured approach to making sure that we've thought of all aspects of training and that we don't accidentally leave any voids that others may fill in a less optimal way. For veterinary training, identifying the top 10 veterinary training needs, both at undergraduate, DVM, and also postgraduate or practitioner level, will go a long way to harmonising what we do internationally for vet training, and would be a very useful output and legacy project from the workshop at the conference. Extending that idea to developing international standards for knowledge, skills and competencies for all responders would be a further really beneficial development. And then building all of this into a vision for a modular, menu-driven approach to training, which could give structured training for all responders from their first encounters all the way up to specialist level, I think would be a really strong vision for training for the future.